Are you ready, Todd? Where are you?
Of course I'm ready. Golden Tea, Spider-Man. But what's super incredibly rare is the fantastic frog.
No, that doesn't say frog.
What? That doesn't say frog. Look.
Now I
Frog! In color, rated R. Frog! It's actually not my joke. Kurt thought that up. He's working the camera now. But what a great opportunity to introduce one of the little seen classic games these days, and I'm going to tell you why. Gorf came out in 1980. Incredible because it packed 5 great games in one cabinet in 1980. We're only talking a year after Space Invaders. So play Space Invaders and 4 other games in one, and then in full color. I want to go over this really unique cabinet first. What a sharp cabinet this was. And what makes this one super nice, we got this out of a basement of somebody that got it in 1984. So it was only 4 years old. And they got it from a local arcade where it sat its whole time. And I'm going to show you something really neat about it. First of all, we just took off the shipping brackets, the shipping parts that are put on the bottom of it. They put these strips of wood on the bottom and don't put the casters in. The casters are then packed inside the cabinet. So when you get the cabinet, you pull these off, they're nailed on, you screw the casters in. This way, the holes where the casters go in don't get all clogged with dirt. They were never taken off until just a few minutes ago, because we're shipping this baby to California. Do you need to get by, Walter? Do you have to squeeze past me? Monitor bezel, beautiful shape, beautiful shape. We did replace the overlay here because the mission instructions were worn out, but now it looks terrific. But look at the rest of this terrific cabinet. Originally, Gorf had 5 screw-in light bulbs that lit it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The owner of this before changed the 2 bulbs to a fluorescent fixture. And of course, the 3 other bulbs were long blown out. I probably hadn't changed them, or I didn't even know they were there until we got the game into our shop. We had to do minimal paint on this, but we did take the black T-molding off and put this yellow one. But look at the artwork on the side of this cabinet. Stephen did some blue matchup here. He had to do some blue because we had a little bit of chipping. But my gosh, you don't have to order new artwork for this. I don't know if anybody makes it yet. Now, I'll show you what we did in the back. Actually, you can see I use green party bulbs that are clear. I think the clear bulbs project a better image on the screen rather than a frosted. So I have clear. You can actually see the clear bulbs sort of from the front here when you look down inside. Now, this uses the 4600. The 4600s were very popular in 79 and 80 before they went up to the 4900 and 81. But in this case, we've rebuilt the chassis. You have to take these out of the whole game. You have to take them out because you have to get to the underside of that brown board and reflow these boards. See, these are flopping all over the place and cracking all the connections back there. So you, of course, have to put new caps in. We even changed the high voltage. The master brightness is a brand new cap. We get those from Zanin Electronics. He also sells the full cap kits for these. A lot of people sell cap kits, but Zanin has that little dial. And that's always bad. It's always weak or rotten. You do that, this monitor's good for another 30 years. The flybacks rarely go bad in 4600s. 4900s are the second best for non-use of flybacks. They just work and work, probably a little over-engineered, and that's why they don't crack or go bad, like the Electrohomes and the Hanarexes and the newer Wells Gardners. Now, see this board? This is the interface board for the monitor. I believe this is the only game that has this. It's a color interface board. And you have to reflow solder on these pins, on this part here and here, and also these. That's pretty much the only thing that ever goes. The board never goes bad, but the connections go bad. Look, inside here, cage, we figure there's only 4 games that uses a cage system. Wizard of War, Bally, Midway that is, Space Zap, and what was the other one, Kurt? Oh gosh, Robbie Roto. The good news is there's no battery on it. Robbie Roto was the one that used that horrible nickel cadmium NiCad that was soldered to the top, and it dripped down and ruined pretty much 99% of all the Robbie Roto boards out there. We did change a fuse block here. Look, it's got the original instruction sheet, just a Xerox. And there it is, Active 7181. Active Amusements was in Philadelphia, and they sold this baby originally. And that was a very clever way they marked their territory. That is the stereo amplifier, and we reflowed solder. It has the volume pots on it. That's the connector. And we see we have our TNT sticker and everything. That way we know we've done the work and we don't have to worry about it. Matter of fact, look, we got rid of the old power supply that used to slide in here. That shitty, bad linear power supply. God, that was awful. With the caps that fell off and, oh my goodness, it burned up. 1 voltage would go out and it'd blow up your board. See, the beauty of these power supplies, they're either good or they're bad. And when they go bad, the whole power supply shuts down and nothing's going to burn up your logic board. Remember, this is the heart of your game now. You want this board to get nice, clean voltage for the rest of its life. And you can only get that from a brand new power supply that's well made. The power techs we get from competitive products. We've been using them now for years. On the bottom of your cage, we took this cage out, and I had poor Tony working on this. He spent 2 hours because he had to reflow solder on all those pins on the bottom of each of these boards. There's 6 board layers in there. You have to sit there and resolder all those little pins and also this connector here to make sure all the solder is nice and tight, just like it was when it was brand new. But here's the real treasure. We left it alone. Look, the original factory cards, which were stapled to the back of it, that are in almost every case, are removed or torn off after so many years. We left it for our customer, and look, there it is, Active 7181. Isn't it wonderful that they spent hours hand printing that rather? Oh my gosh. What did they do? Open it up and say, yeah, it's okay, yeah, go ahead and ship it. Active is gone now. Bankrupt. Gone. But they've left a treasure, haven't they? A beautiful Gorf. Let's go up front and see some of the Oh, it's cracking. Walter, you got to do something about it. Look, he is working on a getaway.
She's standing there.
We're still packed with games. We can't get rid of it. Just got in another Arcade Legends, too. You'll see this soon. And we got a joust we're getting ready. But anyway, let's get back to Mr. Gorf. Here's some unique things about Gorf before we start. Did you notice, look, it talks to you. It talks to you if you just touch the solid state handle. Look at the size of this joystick. Now, are you going to buy a joystick like that anywhere, ever again? No. Beautifully made and crafted joystick.
Try it again. That won't go very well.
Oh dear. It snapped off, folks. Well, the good news is that's just a paper cover. So we'll solder that back on. That's just a cover that covers this. And I guess it's very, very, very brittle after all these years. But it covers up the circuit board here that we've taken apart and reflowed solder. They actually did all that work, and here I cracked that little piece off. These are the cover plates on the side here. So anyway, inside here you're going to see the optics. Watch, when I move the joystick left and right, you can see it moving in there, in and out. And of course, up and down, there's an up and down optic way down here where my other finger is. We've cleaned the optics, we've wiped out the optics, all that's been cleaned, reflowed. We actually reflowed solder on it. The bellows right here in the center is in beautiful shape. We actually still have these bellows brand new, if any of you need it. And do you see this cable here, this steel cable? This houses the wires that go to the trigger button and the light bulb. There's actually light bulbs in the circuit that go on and off when you play. There's a circuit up here that judges when you squeeze the trigger and turns the lights on and off. I'm going to show you that in a second. This joystick, it's just amazing how big this joystick is. Just in great shape too. Yes, right inside the panel here, there's actually 2 miniature grain of wheat bulbs here that light up as you play the game. They don't light in the attract mode here, and they're always blown out whenever we get the game in. Anyway, we changed these, we took out the solid white buttons. We put in see-through glow buttons because the light bulb underneath, you can actually see it shine through. It's nice. And if the customer has this in a dark room, boy, it's going to look terrific. Now, this is one of the first games to offer extra men if you put 2 quarters in. So you get bonus men. Stargate did that in 81. Here we go. Insert coin. I don't think we have to, right? Now we're on. Look, the game ranks on 6 points. We start off as a space cadet. If you get through all 5 levels, you move on. Now this has a really neat shot. If you squeeze the trigger, the shot goes all the way up to the top of the screen. But if you squeeze the trigger a second time, it stops the first shot, and then you get a chance to shoot again. This allows you to try to hit. I was looking up top. It was a bad move. It was. He did say it was a bad move. I was trying to hit the saucer on the top, and look at the beautiful color. That line you see on the screen is from the camera. It is not on the screen. Beautiful blue background on this baby. Good. Now we're on to the next level. Now we called this the peeing screen, even though they called it a laser, but I call it the peeing screen. Only 2 of the space bees pee, and then you can see the miniature Gorfs too. They're not happy either. You can't hit every one. Now the peeing has ended. 2 more. Good. Now we go on to the next level. The original Galaxian. If I stop squeezing the trigger, the lights go on, but they go off if I do rapid firing. I'm not doing well. I wanted to get to the last screen. Did you see the Gorf guy? He appears randomly on the screen and dances across the top. I have a mini Gorf in my collection. I think I've only hit the big Gorf guy 2 times in my whole life. But I don't play this as much as I should. I don't play it. I haven't actually played the game. There he is. Did you see him move? He is random. 2 more. 1 more. And now we have 1 more guy. Now this basically gives you the same creatures that you were shooting earlier. They just come out of the circle. So it is pretty easy, and they fire occasional fireballs at you. You have to be pretty rotten, just like I just did to die. Yep. Notice I'm still a space cadet. He will move in, call you the next thing when you're ready for the next level. Oh God, I got 1 guy left.
Don't choke.
Oh no.
Nice. You own this stuff at your house? Terrible.
Oh. Great stereo sound. 2 6x9 speakers. My, what a piece of equipment. Let me put this in a test. In the test, you get this grid that tells you what place your dip switches are in and then how to test it. See, this tests your light grid here. The circuit board here holds the boards, and then the main processor moves it up the light. I thought that was a nice feature.
Did you ever get the Space Captain before?
Did you ever get the Space Captain before?
God,
Did you ever get the Space Captain? They had 12 guys.
He didn't like that.
Now listen.
He didn't like that.
He didn't like it.
He didn't like that, did he? Now listen. I'm trying to convince people to buy a Gorf. And you're not going to find a nicer one than this. You just aren't. Now, I have a mini one in my collection, but it is not as nice as this. Plus, the Mini doesn't have all the extra lights. This is the way to go. If you have room to get a full-size Gorf, this should be in your collection. And I'm glad you told me about it being called Frog. No, he didn't. Frog!
I'm going home.
That's good. No, you can't. We got to do the getaway. We got no, but no. There's no
Snow's
time.
coming.
Oh yes, they're promising more snow. They say this one's going to be a big one. We have been bombarded. But you know something, folks?
Cold never bothered me anyway.
Oh God, I had to. It's such a great song. I had to bring it out sometime. Anyway, good night for now.